Let's talk about AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk is the simplest way to deploy and scale your web applications in AWS. Earlier we talked about platform as a service. AWS Elastic Beanstalk is the platform as a service offering in AWS for running your compute workloads. If you have web applications to run in AWS and you'd want AWS to take most of the responsibility, in that kind of scenario, you can go for AWS Elastic Beanstalk. It provides end-to-end web application management. It supports a wide variety of languages and frameworks. It supports Java, .NET, Node.js, PHP, Ruby, Python, Go. You can even deploy containers created using Docker. There are no usage charges for Elastic Beanstalk, but you need to pay for the AWS resources which are provisioned. For example, if you're using Elastic Beanstalk to create a few EC2 instances and a load balancer, then you need to pay for EC2 instances and the load balancer. You don't really need to pay anything for the usage of the Elastic Beanstalk service. Let's look at some of the features related to Elastic Beanstalk. Automatic load balancing. If you have multiple EC2 instances, you can tell Elastic Beanstalk to configure a load balancer for you. Elastic Beanstalk can also do auto scaling for you, increase and decrease the number of instances based on the load, and it can also perform managed platform updates. If you want to update the OS or if you want to update the runtime, AWS Elastic Beanstalk can do that for you without any downtime. Let's now shift our attention to talking about auto scaling group and elastic load balancing. Applications have millions of users. Therefore, you would need multiple EC2 instances. So you would want to deploy the same application to multiple VMs. How do you simplify creation and management of multiple VMs? I would want to create multiple EC2 instances. How do I do that in an easy way? The way you can do that is by using something called auto scaling groups in AWS. Auto scaling groups allow you to create and manage a group of EC2 instances. You can create an auto scaling group saying, this is the desired capacity. I would want to start with 2 instances. And the minimum it can go up to is this, maybe 1 instance. And this is the maximum. I would want to go at a maximum up to 10 instances. And the auto scaling group can also increase the number of instances and decrease the number of instances based on the load which is coming in. So if you want to manage multiple EC2 instances in AWS, you can go for auto scaling group. And once you have multiple instances, you'd want to be able to distribute traffic between them. That's where you'd go for elastic load balancing. In AWS, one of the options is to manually set up an auto scaling group and manually set up elastic load balancing. However, the easiest way to set up EC2 instances with auto scaling groups and elastic load balancing in AWS is to make use of a platform as a service offering in AWS, which is Elastic Beanstalk. So Elastic Beanstalk helps you to create multiple EC2 instances using an auto scaling group and load balance between them using elastic load balancing. In this step, we got a quick introduction to Elastic Beanstalk. Let's see a demo of it in the subsequent step. I'll see you in the next step.